business, except for the commission.
Thanks for coming. I'll answer your questions for you guys.
We'll open up front row, middle there. Dave.
Coach, when we were out there, it looked like Joe Burrow and Dwayne Haskins were kind of rotating back and forth. Can you just kind of give an assessment of where the quarterbacks are as far as the pecking order?
Yeah, I think it's what you expect. It's what I expected. I think we all know Dwayne kind of finished the season and finished it strong against the team up north. Joe, before his injury, was neck and neck. And so this is going to be, we're trying to do the best we can to make sure they have equal opportunity to compete. And I'm going to throw Tate Martell's name in there as well, too. That he's earned the right to compete as well. So we're going to do the best job we can to make sure we, play quarterback. That's everyone's dream. Be the starting quarterback at Ohio State. Just make sure we're doing it right.
It's interesting because I'm sure you want a guy to emerge as the guy, but if it's really close, that battle could be pushed into fall. So that could end up being a good thing too.
Yeah, we'll discuss that as we go. Just day to day with those guys.
Far left, Mitch.
Urban, what was it like going out there and not seeing J.T. Barrett?
I saw him. He was off to the side, standing off to the side. Miss him dearly, but life moves on, and he's not the first player. It won't be the last. That he is very unique, though. Especially the position he plays and how close we were, how much time we spent together. But I see Jalen Holmes, Tyquan Lewis, and I don't know if you noticed, we always try to make sure it's called good standing. Something we have around here that when you leave this place better than when you came in, that's something else. Tell our coaches, make sure you leave the place better than when you go somewhere, and whether it be your position group or, and I just, see Josh Perry gets treated like he owns this place because he does. And Jalen Holmes, Tyquan, who else did I see? Denzel Ward, just see good people that have really built this program. JT's obviously one of them.
Front row left, Bill Landis.
Urban, I know you see you'll take it day by day with the quarterbacks, but Joe is in a position where he is on pace to graduate and could play immediately elsewhere next year. Is there any sense that you owe him an answer by the end of spring so that he knows where he stands and can explore all of his options?
Without getting too deep, I mean, we've had conversations with his family, but we try to be as transparent with you guys as possible without getting too nose deep into our meetings. But to answer your question, probably yes. My first obligation is Ohio State, but not far below that is the player and the family. And so, yeah.
And does that expedite the process maybe more than you would like to have it? Because
sure, I'd love to have them both in the fall and let them keep battling it out. I like that. We've had that before here, and I just think that keeps people on pins and needles. And performance, it's science. That performance is better when you have someone. The discomfort of competition at times. That's where you're on point. You're on point. If it's yours by yourself, sometimes you have a tendency to be complacent. So, that's something that we're going to watch very closely.
And then lastly, real quick, just what is Matthew Baldwin's status this spring? Is he able to?
He's not going to play. He has an ACL. He had it. He had surgery. So he's doing a good job. He's gained a bunch of weight back. He's here. He was out there today. But they're very, very cautious with it.
Second row left, Ari.
Right now, Urban, you guys are 3 scholarships over, I think, or 2 scholarships over the limit. Do you have any roster changes or any players that aren't going to be returning or anything that is going to get you guys under 285?
Oh, you kind of caught me off guard right now. I don't know. Anybody that's medical or something like that?
Not that hasn't been out there at this point.
Okay. I know that you're being asked a bunch of questions about the quarterbacks, but is there a perfect plan in place? Is there like a way that you would like to see it play out in terms of timing and how it's going to happen? Would you like to go into the summer with a guy? Because I know that usually you say in the fall you're trying to get ready for a game. Is it better at the quarterback position to have a guy in the summer?
I'd say perfect scenario. I'd say yes, but we don't live in those kind of scenarios usually. So, I told you I've had it several times where you're nip and tuck with 2 guys going after each other for that spot, or going after the backup spot. I just love competition. So, who's our tailback going to be? You ask Mike Weber, he thinks he is. JK thinks he is. And to me, that's the coach's dream, to have 2 people of that quality that are swinging. Antonio had a change of demeanor too. Antonio walks around like he wants to be the tailback. That's the perfect scenario, you say, for a coach. I wish I had 2 guys that were leaving spring, so now I'm the quarterback. And But I don't want to, that's practice one, so we'll find out.
Front row right, Tim?
Yeah, Urban, just to clarify for people, when you look for a starting quarterback, what is it will make one guy better than the other in your mind?
Well, I think in recruiting, and then also just, you've heard this before, but I like talking about this stuff because that's true. And competitiveness is number one, toughness is number two, leadership is number three, intelligence is number four. And those are the things, and then at that position, then you start breaking off into positions, like extend the play, the ability to make something out of nothing. So that's how we determine who we recruit, and that's how we determine who's going to start.
I was going to say, and do you try to put those guys in those kind of like positions throughout the spring? Is that
Throughout the winter and
yeah,
spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing it since January.
I don't know if you.
And we keep score.
Yeah, that's right. I know you're paying attention to this. One of the bailiwicks of this team the last several years has been trying to pin guys into the corner on kickoffs. And y'all have been very successful at that for the most part. There's a move now in the
For the most
NCAA. Yeah, well, we remember one, but there's a move now in the NCAA to do away with that. If you fair catch inside the 25-yard line, the ball always set at the 25. Just what's your take on that kind of move?
Haven't given enough thought. I have. That's a tough play. Probably the toughest play in sport and football. I haven't given enough thought because I think that just came out. Someone just told me. I haven't really thought about it. And I'll have an opinion at some point. I know Coach Shannon and I have already talked briefly about it. But kickoff. The history lesson around here, kickoff has been dynamic. I know we've had a couple of bad ones, but when you start talking about the accumulation of yardage gained by pinning the team down in our 10-yard line, we did a 6-year study of it. It's been overwhelming positive. So that's a weapon that we're taking away from us.
Yeah. So right now, though, would you be for it or against? I mean, would you have? I
don't know.
You weren't even asked about it. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Thanks, man.
Front row right, Austin?
Urban, you talked about how much you love competition. You want it to continue. At a spot that's as critical as quarterback, for you as a coach, do you enjoy watching that race? Is it stressful? You've been through this a lot of times before. What is it like for you to manage that?
I think I'm more stressed about center. I think when you have quality players going at it, there's no stress at all. I mean, that's part of when you're worried about who's going to be your center, that's my focus. I think we'll be fine at quarterback. Who's it going to be, I don't know. But I know they work really hard, and I see not 2 but 3 guys that think they should be the quarterback. So I spend more time at the positions that I don't know who's going to be our center. I know we have some people that are going to go after it, but there's not a lot. Brady Taylor, you have Josh Myers, you have Matt Burrell. I just talked to Josh Allaby. Josh Allaby, look at that kid walk around here. It's a great-looking player, to get that spot. So there's zero stress, minimal stress when you have great players that are competing. It's a lot of stress when center is every bit as important as a quarterback. That just, I don't know if they're great players or not.
Is that true across the rest of the offensive line that this spring might be more important for that unit than the quarterbacks? Because Isaiah is moving.
That position is the apex, and that's what we used to call Corey Lindsley. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that one.
Front row left, Doug?
Urban, I know when you're out there, you're not differentiating guys by what recruiting class they were in, but in 2014, when you won the national title, you had a lot of really good second-year players, that group that emerged. This 2017 recruiting class was so highly rated, but when you think about Browning and Okuda and Chase Young, and Brendan White's out there, and Myers and Davis, and we all know what J.K. did, but there's even, Jalen Harris and Haskell Garrett. There's just a lot of guys that are out there now that look like maybe they're ready to do something this year. Do you think there are going to be a lot of guys, those second-year guys, who are ready to do something?
I do. I think, the names you just mentioned, without going back through them, I do. Plus, they're A1A people. I made a big deal about that 15 class because we had some non-A1A people. A lot of them have changed. That's a positive. Some are out of here. That's a negative. The 2000 last year was a 17. You said 17. Yeah, every young man you just mentioned too. They're performing very well in all the areas of our program. So that's usually an indication that something good's coming.
And we know DeMario McCall last year just sort of had whatever was nagging him, and you have 2 really good tailbacks. You mentioned Antonio, you have 3. You have a lot of veteran guys at H. Where is DeMario right now, and how do you think he fits into all of this offense?
Well, we challenged him because he had a very good day, by the way, today. And he probably had a little tight hamstring near the end, so, but he had a very good day. I want him to be our returner, kick and punt returner. He's already been that's his spot, and he's training as if that's a position. So he's watching videotape, he's training, he's doing it no different than if he's starting corner or starting receiver. He's been a full-time H that's going to be able to move him around, be more of the Curtis Samuel H, and it's on him. The job description is very clear. And when you start to get in, on the first 2 years, it's kind of on us. And once you start to get to be in year 3, that's on you. And you either need to perform or you're not going to perform. And it's on him. And the good thing is he's responding very well.
Sorry about that. Front row right, Bill.
Yeah, what is the status of Dante Booker right now?
Dante Booker had this, oh yeah, there was some kind of an article or something where, sources. Let me say this quickly about sources. If there's a source that you're attuned to, you just realize it's immediate termination from our program. So when you work hard to get sources, we ask you not to talk to our players. And I understand everybody's got jobs to do. I do too. It's instant termination if I hear that's going on. And that's going to be real. When I first got here, it was ridiculous what was going on. I'd have a team meeting, and 2 minutes later, it'd be out and about. And so I'm watching that very closely. That when I hear things like that, and the mom calls me darn near in tears, and saying, where's that coming from? First of all, I'm going, what coming from where? And then someone gave it to me, and I said, where was this? So I met with Dante. I asked the mom, or no, she called me. And he plans on being a Buckeye. He's in a very difficult situation. He's gone through 2 shoulder surgeries. He just finished his second one. One was a rotator, which is a very hard surgery. The other one was a labrum surgery. He just had it, a week ago, Jerry? Or maybe a week ago.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, just had it. And so he's in a fight now. He does graduate. His plan is to, if his plan is anything other than focus on rehab, then. And his plan is to be, he told me, be an Ohio State Buckeye, and I'd rather people leave him alone and let him go be an Ohio State Buckeye and work as hard as he can.
He was a starter last year, then things happened, and if he's healthy, where does he fit?
Hopefully he's a starting linebacker at Ohio State.
And as far as the defensive line goes, I was just in Indy, 3 guys are there, Tracy Sprinkle's gone. What do you think of what that unit is going to be this year?
The D-line?
Yeah.
I think exceptional. I think we lost, you see him walking around out there, Taekwon and Jalen. Obviously, Hub's not back yet, but those 3 guys. But you got some elite players behind them. Cooper looks fantastic. You got Chase Young, and you got obviously that Bosa guy. He's pretty good. And then Larry did a great job recruiting inside guys. So I think the standard's been set. We just can't drop below that.
Got time for a couple more far left, Matt.
You mentioned center and offensive line, but are there position battles, obviously quarterback, but for you that you're really looking at this spring that we have to get this figured out by
receiver, we've been good. We have not been elite, and I've challenged our coach. I've challenged Ryan Day, who's going to be working directly with him as well. I think we've been really good. We were elite in 14. We were elite, and we look at much more than just catches. We've been good. Last year, a very good group, maybe not the first rounder that was making the ridiculous catches all the time, but we look at the blocking, we look at more than just that. And so that's a position I want to see those guys develop into being. There's some elite people that are potential in that group. The positions you mentioned, center and the field safety is a concern right now. You lost Damon Webb, had a great year for us. Jordan Fuller looks, I know you guys were out there watching him early. That first half of practice, he looked fantastic. And he's starting to move around better, and from his injury. But the field safety position is a concern.
Also, how are the newcomers to the program? How do they assimilate during winter conditioning?
They're good. I think I put them in category of like the 2017 group. And I always go just, are they good people? Do they behave? Am I having constant conversation with their parents about acting like a fool? No, they're great kids that do things the right way and getting good grades seem to be. I know that's coming up here pretty soon. But the correlation between that and performing well on the field is very high. And so far, it looks like a good group.
And final questions, 3rd row left, Dan. Isaiah Prince looked like he was at left tackle today. Do you feel like he's your guy there, or is that still a competition?
I do. There's always competition, but he's earned that right to at least get that first shot at it. The other guy that had an excellent offseason, he's penciled in at right tackle, is Thayer Munford. We had our champions dinner yesterday, and Coach Mick, he gave a lot of awards to Thayer Munford, which is a great story. Very talented guy, but that's kind of the way it started today.
And then Jayshon Cornell looked like he was at defensive end. Is that a full-time move for him?
Larry's still evaluating now, but we're giving him a shot to go do that. That's originally what he was brought here as.
Urban, can we check a couple of injuries? Just real quick with you
Yep.
guys who are on the side. Like Michael Jordan, KJ Hill, Jeffrey Okuda, I think all looked on the side. Are they going to
Shoulders.
be okay sometime this spring, or are they out for the spring?
Michael Jordan, no. Jeff Okuda, no. Dante Booker, no. And KJ Hill, no.
All out for
They'll
us.
all spring. And then Brandon Bowen, a little bit slower than we thought, but he had a tough injury. I think it was Maryland, remember, last year. So he had a broken leg. And he'll be, these guys are all going to play next fall.
And Nick Connor is,
Nick Connor, that was last year.
okay.
Yeah.
There was
Someone asked me about that.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.